Hey y'all, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for being here today, where we have an actual physical brick and mortar store for you. I am not AI generated, but you probably wish I were when we get all done here. Thanks for being here today for Mailbag section, where we're going to answer some questions, talk about some nonsense, and have some fun. All right, Scott says, love to watch your stuff, my geeky friend, but are you really old enough to remember Hollywood Squares? Yeah, I actually watched it at my grandma's house, and we would oftentimes have mac and cheese with peas and ham kind of chopped up. Not sure that ham was like USDA certified or anything, but I think it was like a half a step above spam. But let's see if you get this reference. Square gets a circle. Okay? All right, think about it. It might come to you. It might not. All right. Next up, LC9629. Please advise me on the best where to sell coins when I live in Alaska. Very limited in dealers shops, and they gotcha when you're pressed to sell. I'm not impressed with them here in Anchorage. I've used Heritage, but they take a healthy chunk. Oh, so many things to think about and talk about with this comment. First of all, if you're in the Anchorage area and you have a very good outlet for our friend here, please let me know. There's a lot that goes into this question. First of all, when you live in a more rural area or just someplace that doesn't have a coin shop, or someplace that does a decent amount with bullion, it can definitely be challenging. Rural America has its ups and downs. It's really wild. It's not just bullion. You go down to smaller towns sometimes and the gas is more expensive, but sometimes the food is less expensive, right? It's weird for me when I travel different places, seeing the differences. By the way, fun fact, I had a friend in Anchorage and she said that they actually were posting the wait times on the emergency room, and they'd have wait times at the hospital of like 7 minutes or 10 minutes at the emergency room. And for those of us who live in the lower 48, that's insane. Good on you there, mates, because take some of the good with the bad. Your bullion may be harder to sell, but you got good wait times at your emergency room. Dealing with Heritage, ironically, I've sold plenty of bullion over the years to Heritage because they pay a fair price. Maybe it's not feeling to you what's fair, and this gets to part of the crux of the conversation around coins and bullion in general, is what you perceive to be a fair price, and then on the other end of it, what someone else perceives to be a fair price. And it is harder when you're in a rural area or you're in a coin desert where you don't have people that are looking to buy. You can always try to go person to person, find some locals who are really hot for gold or silver if you've got some for sale. It can be challenging because that adds another layer of risk. You can literally get robbed, not in the metaphorical way. And so you really want to be careful when you're dealing with anyone that you're just kind of randomly meeting. But if you have friends that also have some bullion, maybe they might not have the cash to buy right now or interested in buying at these levels, but maybe they know somebody, maybe there's a nice warm lead for you. So like I said, anyone else in the Anchorage area with a good advice, go ahead and shout that out here. All right, Russ Bobo, premiums are set by this. Are they set by the store, by the wholesaler, by the mint, by maybe Satan? This one I thought was pretty good. I've been setting prices so long. So there was a response here that premiums on bullion are mostly supply and demand. The answer to that question is actually yes on a lot of different things here. So if you want to order something from like the U.S. Mint, they're setting prices however they want to, right? That's up to them. Are premiums set by wholesalers and by the stores? Both yes, also, but this is really a supply and demand. This is one of the things that got my head hurting when we were talking about the prices going up so high so fast, and talking about having the refiners stop buying. Because at the end of the day, there's actual physical movement. So this is very different than when you're trading triple Qs or I stocks or whatever, where you're pushing buttons or using some other electronic thing. You physically have to be moving material around when it comes to the bullion side of gold and silver. And so what are people paying for things depends on what other people are paying for things. So there's a little bit of a domino effect. So during COVID, we had a lot of demand for gold and silver, and we had to pay $5 or $6 over silver because that's what it cost everywhere. It wasn't just us. So if someone walks in the door and they see the price of something, they go like, "Oh, you're jacking us around." It's the same thing when you go to the grocery store and all of a sudden milks go from $2.99 for an 18 count to like $7.99 for an 18 count. Well, it's not because all 12 of the grocery stores in town suddenly colluded. It's because no, the price went up because the cost of the product went up on the wholesale level across the country, right? And so I think you'll see some regional diversity in a lot of these different things depending on local demand for things. But at the same time, the national market is really interesting to me, how it's woven together. I find it fascinating. So local stores, if you walk in a store and they want to sell you stuff at $5 under spot, they can. If they want to sell you stuff at $5 over spot, they can. But also, if there's competition and they're at $5 over spot on silver, and you can go across the street and buy something for $1 over or $2 over, I mean, how long is the guy going to price it at $5 over? He may have enough ignorant customers. I don't know. That's always a possibility too. You never know. All right. On the video about gold prices being high, what should I buy now? There is a simple question of what's a good coin to start with. That's just like the blanket question. What's a good coin to start with? So many things to go into this answer and this question. It depends a whole heck of a lot on what you like, what you would like to buy. This is Ben Brooks asking the question, what you have interest in, right? Always start with things that you're interested in because that will get you to your highest level of knowledge, information, education. As much as I like to tell people when they ask what's a good coin to buy, and I start talking about dollars or ancients or world paper money, and they're like, roll their eyes a little bit. But really find what you like. So if you like Lincoln cents and you're looking for a really good Lincoln cent, you can learn pretty quickly, okay, what are the tougher dates? What are the dates that are super hard to get in a good grade? And then as you train your eye when you're looking at coins, you can figure out, well, what's actually a good value because this coin is a better quality for the coin than it just says on the label. You want something with really good eye appeal generally in the coin market. You want something that's going to kind of stand out or look different or be different. And that's something that's I want to say a must-have. So a good coin to start with, well, really whatever you have interest in is probably the best advice that I can give on that. Do you have merch? French Quarter asks. Well, we have a lot of usable merch, right? So I have a bunch of different types, colors of drawstring bags at any given time. Some of these colors end up being one-offs. So I've got some camo ones from like 5 years ago that I can't quite get the same palette on. And so if you have an old camo one, congratulations. We got the drawstring bags. We got the bank bags. Also, this teal is very limited. North Carolina blue, maybe? I don't know. Any Carolina Panther fans out there? And of course, we've got the bigger cloth bag. These are great. All this stuff, all of those are made in America. And as far as, our number one seller, if you go to any shows that we're at, usually we will have a stack of our pens, which have the name on it. Really good, nice stuff. Everyone likes the pen. It's got the stylus. First thing they notice, oh, it's got the stylus. And then actually the light bar, I highly recommend it if you're into currency. Get one of our light bars. Also, if you actually work on vehicles or do something in the dark, this can fit into your top pocket, has a little button, lights up really bright. Actually a nice little device for multiple things, but it is specifically for paper money. Last but not least, I blame technology, but I don't know why these shirts here aren't really on our website, but I do, but I don't. So these are handmade shirts, and so probably got to come in the store for these, I guess. I don't know. I've got a few different sizes, a few different colors. I think I got like blue and green and pink, small through large. You can send an email, staff@oldpueblocoin.com. Sorry, Josie. She'll be answering your emails and being like, Ben, what did you do? We don't yet have someone to make them in quantity. My understanding is with the technology side of stuff that it'd be preferred that we actually have a lot of them instead of making like a whole bunch of one-offs. So this is the issue at this point in time. But it's on my list of things to do in the new year is to actually have someone produce shirts so that I can actually list them on the website and we can have a quantity. All right. Last but not least, William saying, okay, so there's some great buys out there on platinum coins that are 20 to 30 times more rare than gold, but the premium is still low for some domestic issues. All right. So talking about trading your overinflated gold prices into something else, a couple of different things about William's comment here that are really spot on. The overall premiums, the overall price point of platinum relative to gold is still a thing, right? So platinum's up about 50%, 40% in the last year. Gold's up more than double. So if you had both, technically you'd be trading back down into something that has a little bit less, has gone up less, right? Because it'd be kind of a parallel if they both doubled in price and you're not really making an advantage by trading your gold into platinum. The other comment on that is just kind of some of those interesting US mint products that have come out over the last, whatever, 2.5 decades, almost 3 decades now since they started making platinum. Some of those have some wicked low mintages. And so there's definitely a thought process to like, oh, you know, some of these coins, if it's the gold coin, the popular coin, the Mercury dimes, the gold Mercury, the gold quarter, the gold walking Liberty half, there's certain things that are really popular. They stay kind of high priced, even with gold at these levels. They've been running at premiums. Maybe instead look into some of the harder to find, lower mintage platinum coins that the US has produced over the years. There's just a lot of little nuances within the marketplace, and you never know what will become more popular later on down the road. So, having said all of that, guys, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. As always, you can check out our website, oldpueblocoin.com, and TucsonCoinshow.com. And if you don't know, now you know. All right. Thanks so much for being here. Like, share, subscribe, do the algorithm. We'll catch you next time.